What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Oh my God, people. Jesus, do you know what I mean? What the blow? Listen, first things first, obviously, fair play to AJ. I mean, I said, even if AJ wins this fight, I believe, wins it on points, I believed if he was able to politic his way through this fight, I'd still have him beating Fury and Usyk. And I even said at one point, if either man manages to stop the other dude, I just don't see what Fury or Usyk are going to do. Now, equally, it has to be said that what today has proven, or the last few hours has proven, that boxing triangles don't exist. Yeah, look at Joe Joyce popped Josie Parker's cherry, right? And then Zhang Merkel, Joe Joyce. And then I think Zhang won the fight. I don't know. Zhang scored 3 knockdowns, and for me, I think it's hard for someone to tell. I think it was 3 separate rounds as well. It's hard for someone to tell me, that another man won a fight if I knocked him down 3 times and he didn't knock me down nothing. I'm sorry, I find it hard to believe. So I do have Zhang winning that fight, but for all intents and purposes, the fashion I expected Zhang to win, it was supposed to be all-out domination. 3 knockdowns implies it was, but anyway, I've digressed. The point is, boxing triangles don't work. So, and my gambling resume, my gambling record backs that up. Still though, for the love of the game's sake, I've got AJ smoking Fury and Usyk winner. Now, thinking about the performance specifically, I do have to say, you just don't know, do you? Ngannou's a bit more ponderous. I don't know, he looked a lot more ponderous than he did against Fury. Is that because Fury was looking bad? I think we can all agree that. Did Fury look his sharpest? No. Was Fury well below average? I believe so. That potentially propped Ngannou up, but Ngannou looked like not a complete mixed martial arts stiff, but he was plodding. AJ was the boxer in there, and he was sharp. He was focused, and damn, we was all bigging up. Even, what's his name, Ariel Helwani on the post-fight show said, I've seen Ngannou get hit with knees and 4-ounce gloves and elbows, and he take them all. We saw him taking all the shots from Tyson Fury. I think it's definitive to say now, Fury can't punch. AJ can punch. And when listen, OIB, you've been a hater. I ain't never been a hater. Let your hands go. I said this before the Usyk fights. I said it before every Andy Ruiz 2 fight. If AJ in there, and he's trying to be dangerous, he's going to cause people problems. Bottom line. And that's what we saw tonight. He let his hands go with conviction. For example, Ruiz 2 is kind of like political. Ruiz, when he fights Ruiz 2, he's kind of like, he wasn't setting his feet. Watch the right hand that put out Ngannou. AJ literally stepped. So imagine Ngannou's stance is like that, kind of split. AJ stepped halfway through Ngannou's stance with his lead foot, planted it there, and then boop, that's like maximum power. I think at one point Ngannou turned southpaw, and one of the southpaw games to land the backhand is you want to get your foot on the outside. And normally people get their foot on the outside by a few inches or whatever. AJ was fully planted. He was fully planted deep in enemy territory. And boop, and Ngannou, damn. I was talking about Ngannou having an Anunnaki chin. We've never seen him even falter, even in 4-ounce gloves, which I believe are exponentially more damaging. Even in 4-ounce gloves, Ngannou took all the shots. I do have to say, it is a bit of a shame that the Ngannou myth now is over. However, it's only added to... Now, legitimately, AJ versus the winner of Fury and Usyk is now as big as it's ever been, I believe. Remember back in 2018 or whatever, it was kind of like Fury versus AJ. We're back there now. Unfortunately, the YB did get bumped. I put a fiver on Ngannou to win on points at 30-1. I put $20 on Ngannou to win at all at like 4-1 or something like that. Oops, unbelievable. I mean, the Zhang fight as well. I put some coin on Zhang to win. I don't know, and it's just as well I was broke, because I was telling people, if I had a lot of money hanging around me right now, I'll be putting a bag on Zhang. I've heard, genuinely, again, all jokes aside now, it's become apparent, whatever the YB says to do, strictly do the opposite. Do the opposite, people. I would not in a month of Sundays would I have guessed Ngannou he was comatose. Dude leg will twist up. Big Anuaki Nephilim looking ass at that. Sparko on oxygen. Flatlined. And it wasn't even a whooping either. This is really stinging power. Wilder gets a lot of credit for having stinging power, but really, when you look at him, who's he stung? He stung a 60-year-old Ortiz. AJ's stinging. Do you understand? That was stinging. The Wallin fight was a stinging performance as well. Even the Hellenius fight was stinging. Yeah, we didn't rate them performances, or certainly the Hellenius, but they were stinging. It was a stinger that put him out. And now, this is verified now. We can't backtrack and say, oh, Ngannou's no good. Ngannou, regardless of his boxing skills, Ngannou was renowned as having a granite chin. It hasn't been overworked like Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell's chin was worn out, right? Ngannou's hasn't been worked to death. He had a fresh, prime chin. AJ didn't beat him up. He just touched him a few times and he was out of there. This actually reminded me somewhat of Crawford versus Spence. Apart from the kind of highlight reel KO at the end, it was very similar. AJ just seemed to be on his arse. Most things he threw, or big power shots he threw, was landed. Phenomenal performance from AJ. I like his mentality. Yeah? And I got a feeling. Fury didn't want to go near AJ last year when AJ was half falling off. He ain't going near him again. He can't even get in the ring with Usyk. Fury may lose to Usyk. I mean, again, if my betting record is to go by anything, Usyk's going to wash Fury. Probably knock him out in the second round. That's how it's going to go, because I believe Fury wins that fight. So, I can't lie to myself. People say, YB, when you believe something, you should do the opposite. I can't do it, though. And I'm telling you now, if I had coin, I'd put it on Fury. So Usyk's going to win by knockout in the first 3 rounds, I'd assume on this basis. I believed Ngannou was going to win. He get knocked by knockout. AJ don't even knock Hellenius out in round 2. Didn't even knock Wallin out in round 2. Earlier in my last video, my prediction video, talking about Ngannou and AJ, we talked about career and potential trajectories. It's kind of like an ebb and a flow, an up and a down, kind of one of them ones. And at the time I said, Ngannou's curve's going straight up vertically. We don't know where his potential lies. I think we've seen him level out. The AJ fight wasn't the best. We didn't see enough of him, but seeing his stance and his ponderous nature, I think we've seen him level out. He is kind of like... It's too easy to write people off. But I'd put him in the mix with someone like Joe Joyce. That top 5, I call him top 5, top 6-ish level. AJ, on the other hand, at the time, we said AJ peaked at, 2017, 2018. He fell off. And then the Wallin fight, he just started up-tipping. I'd say now, AJ is the most dangerous he's ever been. I'd say AJ's at a point now that he's never reached in his career. Because even when AJ was in there with people like Dominic Breazeale and whatnot, and he was butchering them, but it was taking him rounds. He didn't have the kind of the placement IQ. You'd seldomly see AJ hit someone with one shot. AJ was in there placing shots, and there was bang on the target, counter punching. It looked clean. One thing I will say defensively, in the Usyk fight, and obviously I have to give Ben Davison a lot of credit. Ben Davison's made I never thought it possible. I never thought the man who represents Head and Shoulders conditioner would be able to do what he's done for AJ, but he has. And I give him mad credit for that. AJ, come on people, stop. AJ was a write-off. He was saying he was a write-off. He was telling us at the Oxford Union or the Cambridge Union a year or so ago that, it's about the money now. He was already out. He was half out the game himself. He admitted it. Not my words. He said he out the game. So whatever Ben Davison's done, and we were hearing reports, AJ's hitting through the target, he's found his lust for the game again. And for AJ to go into this fight, knowing how dangerous Ngannou was, and perform like he performed, I don't see Usyk at 5 foot tall doing nothing. That's the truth. If AJ could get and AJ wanted this fight, quick turnaround, he wanted it. I said yesterday, I would have preferred AJ to fight Joseph Parker, because I feel Ngannou's more dangerous and more unknown and more risky. AJ took this risk, people. Jumped in there, and it's one thing most of us expected. Everyone I spoke to said, AJ's going to go in there and it's going to be a Ruiz 2 kind of performance, where he politics. AJ went in there and he was on his job. He took the biggest risk out there, more or less. And he turned up. He turned up with his head on his shoulders. That is priceless, people. You can't buy that. Yeah? So whatever Ben Davidson's done, and I do believe it's Ben Davidson, because AJ went to all these other guys, didn't he? He went into Texas. He wasn't. And fact, people. AJ was in there in Texas with Frank Martin. Was it Frank? No, not Frank Martin. What's his name? Some dude, that muffin top looking ass dude. He was in there with Muffin Top, right? He was in there with Muffin Top, yeah? And guess what? He ain't do nothing. 12 rounds, boring, political. Ain't no one want to watch that. And I would be intrigued. I know it's not going to happen because, well, I don't know, because AJ's looking now for their Fury and Usyk fight. But they're going to fight twice. May and then maybe November. Maybe. Which means the best AJ can hope for is kind of like a May date. A May 2025. So it's going to be 15 months. AJ said he wants to stay active. Now, it's not going to happen, but I wouldn't mind AJ saying, get that muffin, what's his name? Muffin Top, is it Martin something? I don't know. Get that dude in, Franklin, the one Dillian White fought. Get that Franklin back in there, and I want to see Franklin, yeah, he's one of them fighters who looks the same no matter what. He fought Dillian White the same, so he's a good benchmark, right? Or you know what, I wouldn't even mind AJ getting Ruiz back in there and saying, you know what, I got unfinished business with the Ruiz. Get his ass in there. But certainly Franklin isn't as dangerous, doesn't have as quick hands. Get Franklin in there. And I want to see what this AJ does to Franklin. Then we have a clear comparison of change. But regardless of that, well, finally on that note, AJ wants to stay active, right? So he's got 15 months until the potential Usyk and Fury winners available. Who knows? I mean, if Usyk wins one and Fury wins one, there may be a third one. So at best, AJ's looking at a May date, and he's already said, and he's already delivered on being active. He fought August, December, March. He's fighting 3-4 times a year. He needs to keep that up. This momentum is priceless, and he will do that. Unlike Fury, he is disciplined. When AJ gets onto something good, some rhythm like he's got like now, he ain't letting go of that, and that's what he needs. And I'm proud of him for being back. Oh, why be a hater? I was never a hater. I wanted to see this kind of spirit, ultimately. A man who believed in himself. And that's what we saw tonight, against all the odds. AJ, even though he was the favourite, I mean, I didn't think he was, but even though he was the bookie favourite, yeah. We've seen AJ as the bookie favourite before. Look at the Pulev fight. AJ was a heavy favourite against Pulev. What's that fight? AJ was scared of his own shadow and all, whatever. AJ went in there. He wasn't dancing around unnecessarily. He took back steps. Bear in mind how early it was on in the fight as well, round 1, round 2. He was finding his range and lighting dude up in round 1, round 2. Phenomenal. And Ngannou went stupid, right? We saw that in the Fury fight. He weren't just standing there with his chin in the air. AJ was finding them shots. Punching in between Ngannou. Fascinating. So yeah, man, in my opinion, AJ's back. I back him to beat Fury or Usyk. The only thing I will say is, and I assume Ben Davidson's smart enough to make adjustments, but AJ's guard, Usyk was able to get through because AJ's guard was a bit leaky, and it was looking a bit leaky. It was looking a bit like when he jabbed, he'd kind of come back here, which is what he's always done. I don't know if it was a style play or whatever, but those are the holes Usyk gets through. He's quicker than Ngannou, he's trickier than Ngannou, and he doesn't hurt you, he irritates you. He takes you out of your rhythm by being in a pity-patty rhythm. So I'd like to see that a little tighter, but he didn't need it, did he? Ngannou didn't make him have a guard, but it's one of them ones, like it's a bit like Ruiz, the first Ruiz fight. AJ didn't really have a guard then either. He didn't need it until he needed it, if that makes sense. But yeah, man, fascinating. My mind's blown from this game, truthfully. Someone years ago said, YB, don't gamble on boxing. I'm at that point now, I think. I'm at that point. You don't know what's going on. Some people told me YB, AJ gonna knock him spark out. I don't know. I think you man are just, a lot of man who said that, yeah, just fangirls. I don't see from the evidence, yeah. I don't see from the evidence how anyone could have really actually understood how that happens. Based on what exactly? Based on what? I didn't see nothing. But that's why I guess the odds are what they are. At the end of the day, people, the market was right. The market bet AJ was a heavy favourite, and he was. Oops, I was wrong. I was wrong. Classic. Anyway, big shout out to AJ. On a quick note, I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but salute to Ngannou, because even though Ngannou lost travelling to Valhalla. He didn't lose politicking. He didn't back. He went out, spark out, right? That's what we expect from these guys. So he made it to Valhalla. He lost. It wasn't ideal. He can lick his wounds and come back. So yeah, man, salute to him. Salute to AJ. I'm proud of AJ, man. Big salute to him. Big ups. And boxing's back now. It's back, people. The buzz is back. I'm buzzing again for this game, because we've got a man now who's got his head back on his shoulders, and that's difficult to do. I was saying, when your head's lost, it's gone forever. Fair play to AJ, man. I really respect that. He had all the money, he had all the excuse not to put his head back on the shoulders, and he's found it. Again, salute to Ben Davidson. Salute to AJ. And again, he's back, people. We now have a man who's got his head on his shoulders and wants to fight. There's no reason AJ... Let's say Zhang had beat Parker. AJ would have fought Zhang. Do you know what I'm saying? He would have done that. Ngannou was like a Zhang at that point in time. He'd have done that, no problem. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let off the bell. No doubt about it.